Can you make a Blues Brothers movie without John Belushi? Well, the 1998 film Blues Brothers 2000 certainly attempted and failed miserably. We'll talk all about it right after this. Roll the song.
We all love the first one, but the second movie sucked. Trying to catch lightning in a bottle 2 times takes a lot of luck. Brian, Tim, and Dave are watching movies that are lame. These are the sequels that aren't equal.
Hello and welcome back to Sequels That Aren't Equal, a podcast where we talk about beloved major motion pictures that have follow-up films that fall well short of the mark. I am your co-host, Brian.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Tim, and I'm starting to hate these guys for making me watch terrible movies.
That's the whole point of this
Yeah.
podcast.
Is it? Is that what we agreed on?
Are you rethinking your life
I don't remember
choices?
agreeing to this. I don't.
Rethinking his life choices.
Always do
now,
a
8 episodes
podcast
in.
about good movies.
Oh, that's boring.
Yeah, it's too many of those.
We also talk about good
Yeah.
movies because the first movies are good, right? And in this case, the first movie is Blues Brothers, the 1980 Saturday Night Live film starring Jim Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and a very cute Carrie Fisher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Forever
Yeah,
cute.
yeah.
Forever cute. First crush ever.
Oh, everybody's full
Yeah.
of it. I was a little 6-year-old boy, and when she came out in that gold bikini tied to that worm, I became a man that day.
Actually, I only got one woman hanging up on my wall, and it's Carrie Fisher. She looks over my bed at night. In her Princess Leia outfit, it's awesome, dude.
And also, there are, of course, many, many, many cameos in that film. Even Steven Spielberg, blink and you miss him. But
The GOAT?
the GOAT.
There was the GOAT was in the original Blue Brothers? I gotta
Yeah.
rewatch it.
Yeah. So anyway, as well as many, many beloved blues and R&B icons. We'll talk about that in a moment. The 1980 film was co-written by Dan Aykroyd and John Landis, directed by John Landis. We will discuss him in a moment. Studio Universal Studios. It had a budget that ballooned to $27.5 million. This is something where I believe it was originally budgeted at like 17.
Yeah.
And then it just got way too expensive on them and then ballooned to 27.
What's crazy is at the time, 27 million was one of the most expensive films.
Oh, absolutely.
At the time.
Movies didn't cost a lot.
So, like, at the time, this was one of the most expensive movies.
That is amazing.
Which is shocking.
And it's a comedy musical. So the fact that Universal Studios was willing to spend that kind of money on a comedy musical is a huge leap of faith. But the Blues Brothers were incredibly popular going into this. We'll discuss that in a moment. Its final box office was 115 million, which is incredibly healthy. I mean, cracking 100 million in 1980 was a huge deal.
I want to know what week 2 looked like, though. I feel like 90% of that's week 1.
No, it opened up number 2. You know who beat it at the box office the weekend it opened
Oh,
up?
it's a good movie.
Another Carrie Fisher bomb.
Oh.
That would be Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, you're talking about the original Blues Brothers?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought still about. Okay, my bad.
We're
I was
still
like, what?
in the year
Yeah,
19.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, Empire Strikes Back is one of the greatest movies ever made, so I'm sure, anything was going to finish second to that.
Oh,
So Carrie Fisher had 2 bangers, 1 and 2 at the same time.
1 and 2 at the box.
That just tells you how
office.
badass she was.
So let's talk about the Blues Brothers and how it started. So it started as an SNL bit, and I say a bit, not
Loosely.
a skit. Well, that's right. I said it's a bit. It's not a skit. So basically, Dan Aykroyd was a huge blues fan and a musician on his own.
Chicago.
Yeah. Well, actually, he's from Canada.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, it's basically
And-
Chicago.
Yeah.
North
Is he
Chicago.
part of that SCTV?
Yeah, I'm
with
sure he
Gene
was.
Levy and he wasn't part of it.
He wasn't.
Ran
No,
John
he
Candy,
didn't
right?
come over from SC.
Which one's Chicago? Is that the Groundlings?
No,
Second
SCTV.
city.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Chicago's second city, right?
Yeah, the second city. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So he was a Canadian. He was actually a musician of his own right. He can play harmonica. He can play drums. He comes to SNL. He comes to New York, and he actually opens up a blues bar because he's such a blues fan. And then his friend John Belushi. Why do I keep getting the Belushi?
Oh my God, you guys didn't know the pre-production meeting on this.
Before we rolled on this, I cannot keep my Jim and my John Belushi. One of them's an amazing actor of great comedic prowess, and the other is his brother.
Wow, man, I hope Jim Belushi's not watching this right here. I like you, dude. Red Heat's awesome.
Okay, John Belushi. John Belushi would go with Dan to the club after taping SNL, and he fell in love with the blues too. So, they're blues fans. And then the Saturday Night Live band has always been
Oh yeah.
an incredible band since the very
H.E. Smith and the Saturday Night Live band.
Oh my God.
That was cool, man. Remember, dude, man, that was awesome. At the beginning of Saturday Night Live, man, they always like show the band, man. H.E. Smith had the long hair,
Yeah,
right?
long hair.
Really good looking, distinguished looking man. Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, absolutely. No, the band has always been one of the highlights of SNL. So what they would do kind of just like in rehearsals or just sort of in downtime, they would jam with Dan Aykroyd and then later John Belushi.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and they would just kind of jam on the set, and then they sort of just work that into a bit and be like, oh, hey, let's have you guys be like the musical guests that week. I guess they might, it was a week they probably just didn't line anyone up. We'll have you guys come out. We'll do a few, blues covers, some standards from back in the day, and it was a big hit, man. It was like instantly very popular. And so much so that within a few months, they actually recorded an album of them doing some blues standards. And it actually charted number 37 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1978, with the single Soul Man charting at number 14.
Wow.
Yeah, so legitimately they were...
So it got some Casey Kasem airplay.
It did.
Fine, Casey Kasem. Here's your request and dedication.
Do you know he was the voice of Shaggy?
Like Scoop. Yeah, I knew that.
All right.
Everybody knows this, man. It's like standards.
Okay, just throw
Standard knowledge, pal, all right?
I thought I was going to get
There's
you
not
on that
one human being on this planet that doesn't know.
I think one of our 10 listeners right now is going, I never knew this. Why
Please
am
never
I
listen to our
this
show.
low?
If you're thinking that, don't ever listen to the show again.
all
We
right.
don't need your support.
So anyway, it was a reoccurring bit because it was popular, not a ton of times, but they performed several times on SNL. They had their hit album, and then Aykroyd and Belushi kind of decided, hey, what if we turn this into a movie and we can use it as an opportunity to work with some of our blues and R&B, people that we love? Because by the late 1970s, R&B, blues rock was very much dead. At the time, disco was, the leading form of pop. So they're like, hey, let's write this movie. We'll use it as an excuse to cast, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, all these like luminaries of blues and R&B. And they put it out without even a script being written. They put it out to the studio system going, who wants to get in bed with the Blues Brothers and make a Blues Brothers movie? There was actually a bidding war, script unseen, and Universal Studios wins the rights to make the Blues Brothers. At the time, Dan Aykroyd didn't have a script, had never written a movie before, so he sits down and he writes some unwieldy, like 200-page tome with some good ideas in it, but then once John Landis signs on as the director, because specifically they wanted John Landis because John Belushi was, of course, a huge comedic talent, but he was also very unpredictable because he was a major coke fiend at the time. So bringing in a director that had made a huge hit with him because he had already made Animal House at that point, then John Landis sat down with Aykroyd and focused the script. And I think this is kind of like a parallel to what happened with like the Ghostbusters scripts, because that was like the same thing where Aykroyd had a script, it had some nuggets in there, but was very unfocused. And then Harold Ramis had to come along and like help him write it. So I think Dan Aykroyd's like the idea man, but then he kind of needs someone else to help him.
And Belushi was supposed to be in Ghostbusters, correct? Who took Belushi's role? Was it Murray?
Well, no, Jim. So
Do it one more time. Do it one more time.
Get out of your system.
I'm going to give you a Samuel Jackson. Say Jim Belushi one more time.
all right, for you, those of you watching at home, this could be a drinking game. Take a shot every time I say Jim Belushi. You will be very drunk by the end of this episode.
Oh, yeah, you're done.
Okay, John Belushi died in 1982, so I don't think he was ever in consideration for Ghostbusters, but they did model Slimer after him in like homage.
Okay, that's good. All right, yeah.
So famously, Slimer is kind of loosely
I feel like
based.
somewheres I heard that Belushi was supposed to, that Ghostbusters has been going around a while, and
It had, but you know who was supposed to be the Winston character?
it was supposed to be Eddie Murray.
It was supposed to be
Photography, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me call Eddie Murray one more time. Yeah, Eddie Murphy. Sorry,
but it
but
was supposed to be Eddie Murphy, but then he dropped out, and then they, replaced him.
how big of a, I mean, the guy that plays Winston, strong, and he's
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson,
Ernie
love the
Hudson's
franchise.
great.
Nice guy, but just, I mean, that's a different level with Eddie Murray. Eddie
Murphy.
and
See, it's not just me. Okay, but I argue that the movie is better not having Eddie Murphy because it needed the straight man, it needed the everyman, it needed the person to kind of help the audience be the entry point into the Ghostbusters universe, and Winston was that character, right?
Yeah, and I feel kind of bad for Hudson because, originally the screenplay, he had a lot more jokes.
Right.
When it was originally going to be Eddie Murphy, and then when it wasn't, they took a lot of that and spread it amongst the other three characters. Right. And then I think really did focus it more on, we're watching the movie more through his lens.
Absolutely.
Average normal guy. Yeah, whatever, need a job. What do you need me to do? Buzz guy? Yeah, I'll bust some ghosts, Need me to do drywall, like that kind of, I think, mentality going into the job. And so I think it was that perspective, which when we would have had that perspective with Eddie Murphy, probably not.
Oh, absolutely. And I think comedies need a straight man.
Yeah.
So,
But he's a straight man halfway through the movie.
That's true. He does show up.
Yeah, he doesn't show up yet.
Originally, I'm sure Eddie Murphy
would come in much earlier.
You got Murray and Eddie Murphy in the same movie. I don't think Bill Murray and Eddie Murphy's ever been in the same movie ever.
So they were not on the SNL at the same time. That's for sure.
Yeah, because Eddie Murphy only did one season, right? I think Bill Murray only did 1 or 2 seasons at the most. I know Bill Murray came in after. He wasn't part of the OG cast. He came in until
Chevy Chase left after 1 season.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then Bill Murray, I think, was a couple.
He replaced Chevy, and then Murray did 2 seasons and then left. And then Murphy replaced Murray.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
And I think, he only did.
That's legend replacing legend replacing legend.
Early SNL really was like a magical place where, comedy talent certainly was born. Which is why I'm actually surprised that there are so few SNL-based movies on, taking these scripts, taking these characters, these actors, and then creating SNL-based movies. In fact, The Blues Brothers, of course, was the first movie based on an SNL skit. And there really haven't been that many since. In fact, I even printed out a list. We can kind of talk about them. Because, going into this mentally, I was thinking, there's a ton of SNL movies. Because I was thinking there's so many Sandler movies. There's so many, David Spade movies and all that. But no, all of those are not SNL movies, even Andy Samberg movies. So what is your favorite SNL movie, Dave?
Probably Wayne's World 1 with a MacGruber probably 2.
I would have put Wayne's World 1 at number 1 as well. How about you, Tom?
Definitely. I love Wayne's World 1 is head and shoulders above any other SNL movie. Blues Brothers is good, but I'm not the biggest fan of Blues Brothers. I know that's probably, considered a sin in some people's eyes. I like it. I respect it. But Wayne's World is definitely the best. And Close MacGruber, which is one of the most underrated SNL movies of all time. And then, you gotta, and then I'm a fan of Night at the Roxbury. Right?
All right,
that one is really funny.
It's my number 2.
Yeah, that's...
Because Superstar is a funny skit. Wasn't a great movie. Ladies' Man was hilarious, but they try to make an hour-and-a-half movie out of it. Impossible.
Yeah.
And Stewart Saves His Family. Stewart was hilarious, what's the guy's name that he was a senator?
Al Franken.
Al Franken, great writer. He wrote a lot of great skits for SNL, but that movie was just, I love Stewart and his daily affirmations. And It's Pat. Pat was hilarious skit. Just didn't translate well to, an hour-and-a-half format.
No, that was the lowest box office gross of any SNL film was It's Pat.
And Coneheads is not bad either.
Yeah, Coneheads is okay.
Coneheads is weird, but it came about 15 years too late because Coneheads is a skit from 1978.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that old. Dang.
Yeah, it was the OG, Dan Aykroyd skit from 78, and then they didn't make the movie till 93. So they make Blues Brothers in 80, and then they don't even attempt another SNL-based film until Wayne's World 1 in 92. And then in the 90s, they were pretty busy with them because you have Wayne's World, you have Coneheads, Wayne World 2, which is also very good. Then, of course, It's Pat, which was a huge failure. Stewart Saves His Family, huge failure. Followed up by Blues Brothers 2000, huge failure. So we've got 3 big failures right in a row. Roxbury, which it made almost exactly, so it made almost double its budget. It was okay.
Yeah.
I love Night at the Roxbury.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. I think it's a brilliant movie.
Yeah, I just recently showed it to my kids.
Yeah.
And they really liked it.
Isn't it Will Ferrell's first feature film?
I believe that is the
Yeah.
feature film debut of Will Ferrell. Absolutely. And then, of course, you've got Superstar, Ladies Man, and then MacGruber. And I'm very happy to hear you guys say that you like MacGruber because I have always kept that secret that I liked MacGruber. Like, I walked out of the theater going, that was really funny. And
Yeah,
I was
dude,
like,
that
that
was
was
really-
terrible. And I was like, never
legit.
again bringing that up.
That's really funny, man.
Yeah, I didn't know there was this backlash of MacGruber hate until I walked in and we had the pre-production meeting. But I always thought MacGruber, the skits were hilarious and the movie was brilliant. And I wonder what, because you got from 92 to 99, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then Ladies Man came out in 2000. So you got 9 SNL movies within a 8-year time span.
Right.
Now, what if they would have took the Kevin Feige approach and connected this in one big universe? What could have been right here? Because I mean, technically it's SNL. These are all in the same universe as far as the show goes.
Sure. Yeah.
So why don't they just somehow have a end game approach to all these characters? You know what I'm saying?
But what I can't believe, what's shocking reading this list is who's missing. Like, there's not an Adam Sandler film here.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, I'm shocked stuff like Canteen Boy or Opera Man. I'm surprised they didn't make those movies. Or
Absolutely.
Chris Farley's Matt Foley inspirational speaker. Like, how did that not get a movie?
Right. Okay, so it's popular to dunk on SNL, but have you guys seen it recently?
SNL's getting better.
Okay, thank you.
I
Right?
haven't really watched.
The last 5 years, I think, has
Recently.
been some of the best years they've ever had.
Okay, right? Like, secretly in the background, they are putting up some very consistent work, especially this season has been great. They've got an amazing co-host that the hosts themselves are actually super funny. The Pedro Pascal episode was amazing. The Aubrey Plaza episode.
Aubrey Plaza episode was
was
one of the best
amazing.
episodes in 10 years, probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Plaza gets it. Her whole opening monologue, how she used to work.
Yes.
That was amazing. I loved it.
Anyway, yeah, that's kind of SNL. Here's a fun little fact. The original Blues Brothers film held the Guinness Book of World Record for the most cars destroyed during production of a single movie.
Wow. I feel like they tried to break that in the sequel.
It's funny that you said
Oh, really?
that.
Okay.
They, in fact, broke that record by one car.
Oh, wow, all right.
So, yes, they did 103 cars crashed in the first one. And then the second one, they threw in one more car just so they could break the record. And then that record.
Well, they make it obvious in the second.
Oh, we'll get to that scene. It's so ridiculous. And then that record held for 10 years until G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra.
Oh, my God. What?
All right.
God, we got missing that movie.
We do.
We're not doing a podcast about G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. Sorry.
Wait, is that a No,
There's a sequel.
There
It
is a
is,
sequel.
but it is better than the original.
It is.
It's better than the
Sadly,
original.
it is.
Which one sucks?
No,
Well, I
Rise of
mean,
Cobra is
they're-
the worst.
Yeah, that one's worse. Second one, not great, but certainly.
You're right. The second one is better. All right. So, just to finish off with Blues Brothers, it has a very, very basic plot where the movie opens up with Elwood picking up Jake from jail. Elwood is played by Dan Aykroyd. Jake is played by John Belushi. And that's how it opens. And then they go back to the orphanage where they grew up, and to learn that it's about to be shut down for back taxes, which is ironic because it's a Catholic orphanage. So I assume it wouldn't be paying taxes, but whatever. And so that's where their "We're on a mission from God" comes in, because basically the plot of that movie is, okay, we need to, through our blues music, raise enough money to save the orphanage before it gets shut down for back taxes. So, at least it's got a mission. It's got a ticking clock. It's got that, very famous line, "We're on a mission from God,"
and getting the band back together.
Oh, we're
right?
getting the band back together,
Yeah.
where a large chunk of the film is just them reuniting the band because, of course, Jake had been in jail. So, and there will be echoes of a lot of this in the second movie, but really what the second movie is seriously missing is that mission from God. Like, there is no... And I mean, okay, we'll get to the plot in a second, but there really is no ticking clock. There really is no clear mission of like, this is what the Blues Brothers are trying to accomplish in this film. So the first movie definitely had it. And then honestly, it's just an excuse for them to drive around Chicago and run into blues and R&B luminaries and sing with them, basically. You had James Brown, like I said, Aretha Franklin, and several others. All while being chased by neo-Nazis. And the neo-Nazis show up again in the sequel. So there's something about Blues Brothers and neo-Nazis. They're always fighting neo-Nazis. And then, of course, they're fighting rednecks that they run into in Bob's Country Bunker Honky Tonk. And that actually makes a comeback in the second one as well. And in the end, and of course, being chased by the cops in their Bluesmobile, which is a retired police car, a very iconic, car that they get into the chase with. They do that chase through the mall. That's a great chase scene. And all while this is happening, you've got Carrie Fisher as Jake's vengeful ex-fiance trying to kill him with like sniper rifles and bombs throughout the movie. And there's actually even a parallel to that with the Russian mafia in the second one. So it's pretty wild. So anyway, that is the very, very, very basic overplot of Blues Brothers 1. In the end, they are offered a recording contract because, they play a big concert to try to raise money. And then the advance from the record contract is what saves the orphanage. But in the end, they get arrested and carted off to jail. So that's Blues Brothers 1. So before we continue talking about the movie Blues Brothers 2000, we have to mention what happened with John Landis in 1984 with the Twilight Zone movie, because it is just, I don't see how you can talk about him as a director and not bring that up. You're aware of what happened.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now in the news, there's, of course, a lot of talk about the tragedy on the set of the Alec Baldwin movie, where the cinematographer was killed because of gross neglect by many, many people. And unfortunately, a very similar thing happened under John Landis's watch while he was making the Twilight Zone movie. Dave, you want to take this?
Sure. Yeah. So it's the Vietnam scene. And so it involves, a helicopter, and you have Vic Morrow, the actor, and he's there with 2 children. And the scene is that he's, saving these kids. Because actually the scene got added a little bit later in the script because they wanted, because the character is this terrible person. And so they wanted like a redeeming, we're going to show him because he's like racist and stuff.
Oh, he's deeply racist.
Yeah, like he's,
so this is kind of like a save the cat moment?
Yeah, so this got kind of added a little bit later as a save the cat. Like, well, let's show him having at least one redeemable, act. And so it was going to be him saving, these 2 children during Vietnam.
Yeah, so they're Vietnamese children in a village that's about to get napalmed.
Yeah, and so... yeah, there was a lot of issues where, and Landis kept wanting the helicopter lower, but they didn't rehearse that, the positioning with what kind of explosives there would be. They paid the children with cash under the table because they were breaking a lot of child labor issues, laws, how late it was, and timing. And I'm sure there should have been stunt doubles if you're having, especially with children, and having that kind of pyro and that literal live helicopter,
or mannequins.
There shouldn't have been children.
Yeah, or you just lock off the camera and do it as 2 passes, one with them running and no helicopter, and then one with the helicopter flying low and no people, and then composite them together
through the magic of editing. So they shouldn't have been there, and a lot of, like I said, rules were broken. So, I mean, I feel and I don't know if there were people kind of stepping in saying, hey, we can't do this. I don't know how much voice people were given, and he shut them all down. That I'm not 100% sure on. But I know that, a lot of rules were broken and safety rules broken. And he was just all about, got to get the shot. I want it lower, make it more dramatic with the explosion. And it caused the helicopter. I'm not sure if something had gotten into or what caused that.
One of the explosions knocked it off course.
And so it ends up going down and kills the blade, kills Vic Morrow and the 2 children.
Yes. Yeah. And he was charged with manslaughter.
It went to trial.
It did, Alec Baldwin is being charged with manslaughter, and John Landis got off.
Yeah.
And, and there are many people that think Alec Baldwin will also get off, as did John Landis. And you would think that something that terrible would have ended his career, but no, John Landis kept working in Hollywood and did very successful projects after that.
Yeah, I know, because leading up to it, you mentioned Animal House, and then Blues Brothers, American Werewolf in London,
which is my favorite film of his.
Oh yeah, then Trading Places. Yeah, so I mean, he was established. He's
Thriller, right?
Yeah, he did.
He did
Thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yes, because of American Werewolf in London. But Thriller was pre
That was like 83.
83, so that would have been before the accident. But then after the accident, I mean, he went on to do Coming to America, which is a huge.
Yeah, he had Spies Like Us, which was funny. Three Amigos.
Oh,
That's a classic comedy. That's a good one. And then, then 88, Coming to America.
Right.
So, yeah, I always kind of remember it as that kind of ending or derailing his career. And it didn't.
No,
like I know there was some that like refused to work with them after that. I know Spielberg kind of like, I'm going to distance myself from you after that and not do any more collabs. So, yeah, I know that there were people that had distance, so I'm not going to work with him. But, yeah, I mean, he went on to still make some pretty big bangers afterwards.
No, he did. But one of those that was not a banger is Blues Brothers 2000, because he also did co-write and direct this film.
Yeah. And then he really didn't have much after that, right? Like, I think some weird random TV or so. Or
Yeah, Blues Brothers 2000 really did kind of kneecap his career.
Yeah.
He did some TV after that, and then his last theatrically released motion picture was like 2010, and it was like some comedy with is it Andy Serkis? What's Gollum's name?
Yeah, Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis and Simon Pegg. Some comedy about these two guys in Victorian England that steal bodies and sell them to like doctors so they can practice on surgeries and stuff. So they kill people and then sell them to doctors. Sounds hilarious.
Knee slapper.
Knee slapper.
Actually does sound fun.
It did taint. Well, it tanked the theaters.
Yeah.
And that was the last time he directed anything.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, and then of course, among his filmography is the film in question today, Blues Brothers 2000. So now here we go, Blues Brothers 2K. So the film opens very cinematically, man. Like just from the first frame, I was pretty surprised. I'm like, wait, isn't this a comedy? Because you've got that very haunting a cappella John the Revelator. It's actually really, really cool version of it.
Yeah.
And then a lot of slow shots of the jail at sunrise. And it's like you're watching the Shawshank Redemption or something.
Yeah, I literally wrote opening credits as part of the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very soon. Some of the angles like used. How was it? Second unit? Like it felt. Did Landis do it? It felt. Yeah, there's some nice jib shots. Like it was really. Like yeah, it was well. Yeah, I was like
Very
in
moody.
Shawshank, yeah, it's very not what you're expecting.
Oh, not at all. Like,
very good.
That's how the movie opens up. This haunting song, these shots of the jail at sunrise. Probably the best part of the movie. Like I seriously could just watch it as
Probably look that up and see if Frank Darabont was had second unit there.
running second unit that day. Very, very cool. So anyway, that's the opening credits song. And then the credits stop. You see Elwood walking out of jail, of course. So parallel to the first movie. We as the audience know that Jake, his brother, is dead. But he walks out, he's got his little bag, sets it next to the curb, and he sits there for 24 hours waiting for his brother to pick him up. And I'm sitting there watching and going, this is actually really sad.
Yeah.
This is a sad way to open up a comedy because, you know, it's meta, right? Like we know that Jake's not coming because John Belushi is dead.
Yeah.
And then the warden, do you know who plays the warden in this?
No.
Frank Oz. Yoda.
Oh, okay.
Yoda ain't nice. Yeah, one of the many cameos. So the warden cameo is actually a holdover from the first movie. He was the warden in the first movie, so he plays the warden in the second movie. And yeah, he comes into work the next day and he's like, wait, Elwood's still out at the curb? No one told him? So he walks out. He's like, yeah, your brother's dead. And then, you know, he like hangs his head. It's very sad. So anyway, right after that, this beautiful woman in a sports car pulls up and tells him that Willie, the drummer from his old band, has sent her to pick him up. So, okay, he jumps in the car. They're driving off. So then, now this is a weird choice. So Mother Stigmata, which is a great name for a...
Yeah, that's a good name.
Stigmata, of course, is like when you bleed from the nails of the wounds of Christ. So Mother Stigmata wrote to Elwood while he was in prison, so he goes to visit her. Now, this is the the third scene of the movie. This movie is not funny yet. There have not been jokes in this movie.
Yes.
This scene kind of has some jokes because like every time he speaks up, she like slaps his wrist because she's a nun and nuns beating you is funny, I guess. But like, yeah, there hasn't been jokes up until this point. But anyway, so he's with Mother Stigmata. She says, "Oh, I'm sorry about your brother Jake." And he's like, "Yeah, I guess I don't have any family." He asks about Curtis. Curtis was the janitor of the orphanage that where they grew up, and it was Curtis who introduced Jake and Elwood to the blues. So he's like, "Oh, hey, how's Curtis doing?" And she's like, "Well, actually, Curtis passed away as well." So he's like, "Oh, now I've got nobody. I've got no family at all." And the nun says, "Well, actually, Curtis did have an illegitimate son." And Jake says, "Oh, well, any son of Curtis is like a brother to me. I'm going to go find my long lost brother." And so now I guess that kind of becomes the plot for a while, is that,
For a while.
well, for the next scene.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is a movie in struggle of finding a plot. Like, it doesn't know, like every
2-minute side missions. Isn't it?
yeah, right. It's like a bunch of side missions.
That
Yeah.
doesn't last, you don't feel like you're on a mission.
In this scene,
Yeah.
the nun is like, "Hey, Elwood, before you go, we're an orphanage. We've got all these kids just sitting around. Why don't you take Buster here? He's 10. He could use a father figure, a mentor. He'll help keep you out of trouble. So why don't you just look after Buster for a while?" And then that really does start kind of the plot of the show.
You know what?
We'll get to.
I just had this scary thought for this kid. All right, so he's a kid, fatherless kid looking for a father figure.
Yes.
And I hope that kid did not turn down Phantom Menace to be in Blues Brothers 2000, because this is basically the same time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They would have been in production the same.
So, I mean, that kid, I think, would have made a better Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, light years better.
I hope that kid didn't pick Blues Brothers 2000
Over.
Phantom Menace.
I don't know, because Star Wars really did ruin the life of, is it Jake Boyd?
Boyd, yeah.
Yeah, no, that guy says he regrets being in Phantom.
Yeah, everybody's ever played Anakin Skywalker has destroyed their life. Hayden Christensen, that Jake Lloyd. Even though Hayden Christensen's in a great movie called Jumper, highly underrated movie. I'm a big fan of that movie.
Well, also one thing with that kid character, that was a studio note. When the original scripts, he wasn't originally in that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
Well, then what would the plot have been?
So,
Because we
yeah,
haven't talked
so-
about what the plot is with him.
So because it was written again by Landis and Aykroyd,
Right.
And the studio was like, "No, we need to make it more kid friendly. So it's PG-13, not R." And they want to make it more friendly. And so they're like, add the child character, and then also, which we'll get to, more fantasy like elements.
Oh, wow.
there was a
Those were studio notes?
Those were studio notes.
Why?
Yeah. So Landis actually hates this movie, and
I can see
Rightly
why.
so.
he was like upset with the studio over this movie because of the changes they wanted.
Stuff that never happens at A24. This is why A24. That's why there should only be
Would
three.
be a sequel to Aren't Equal podcast without bringing up A24.
There should only be 3 studios that should exist. That's Focus, that's Neon, and that's A24. Those are the only studios that exist that we watch movies from. Because the last thing I want to hear is the studio made some notes to ruin a movie. That's all they do is ruin. And the studio's never made a good decision ever. Name me one time a studio's made a good decision to help a movie. Yeah.
I'll get back to you. on
Okay, yeah, you got to get back
Yeah,
to
there's
nothing
probably
pops
is.
out.
There probably is.
God, studio executives, left-brain people suck.
No, I mean, think about how big the pile of cocaine must have been on that guy's desk to think, okay, Blues Brothers kid movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make it kid friendly. Let's put a kid character in there. Let's keep it PG-13, and let's put in fantasy. Like, how big of a pile of cocaine was that man snorting?
Yeah, this is gonna sell lunch boxes. Like
Should be. Okay, you say that. There was an N64 Blues Brothers video game.
Oh,
was there?
There was, and it's amazing. You can go on, and I don't mean amazing in a good way. You can go on YouTube and you can, put in Blues Brothers video game, and it's a 3D platformer, and you're like a jumpy Mario-ish character, but you are Elwood, and you're in jail, and you're like trying to escape jail, but there's like these giant hands that are trying to keep you in jail while you're escaping. And then later you're running around Chicago collecting coins. And I think there's a recording studio scene where, I don't know, you have to fight zombies or something.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah, so I guess they really were thinking, kids are going to, a movie about 40-year-old men who love the blues.
Yeah. But that's got kids written. Oh,
Kids written all over it.
there's not a musician under the age of 50 in this movie, I don't think.
Oh my goodness, no. Wow, you are blowing my mind that the kid was a studio note, because having the kid drives so much of the plot later. that I do wonder, and the plot is already paper thin. It's really just kind of a series of events. There is, like I said, there is no mission, there's no ticking clock.
It's basically a porno plot to get to the musical.
Yeah, and then instead of sex scenes, we get these musical scenes. That kind of makes sense. Okay, so Elwood now takes Buster at the nun's behest, and he's like, his first mission is, okay, I'm going to meet my brothers. Finds the police precinct because he learns that this guy, his name is Chamberlain, who is the janitor's son, Curtis's son, is a police captain at this precinct. So anyway, he goes in and he, of course, confronts the police captain, Chamberlain, saying, hey, I knew your father. Of course, he didn't know. So Chamberlain's mother had an affair on the man she was married to with Curtis, but her husband raised Chamberlain as his son. So this is news to him. By the way, you're a bastard. Your mom had an affair. He's like, my mom is a saint. So, yeah, he gets very angry. He throws Elwood out on the street. And after throwing Elwood out on the street, Buster pickpockets Chamberlain's wallet to get money to go buy the Bluesmobile. All right, so then Elwood takes Buster to go to Willie's Club, right? Because he got picked up from the jail by the girl who worked at Willie's Club. This is him finally going to the club, and we see it's actually a strip club.
So, so I was watching this movie on an airplane, and so when it came to the strip club, I was like, and I like fast forward, I'm like, because like that's weird. Like I don't, I'm like, well, it is PG-13, so it's probably not gonna have nudity. But like I'm always really weird about what I watch on a plane. Me too. So I pick like stand-up specials or whatever, where like. Because when a sex scene pops up, I'm like,
talking,
but yeah, I'm not gonna watch some, Game of Thrones scene or whatever. So that came on, so then I like, fast forward. I never bothered to go back and watch the scene, so I'm not even sure.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
Well,
is this where the Russians or whoever?
This is the introduction of the Russians.
Russians.
So you missed the, what throws the plot, such as it is, into the next, gear, and that is, so Elwood brings Buster, this 10-year-old kid, to the strip club. One of the strippers is like, oh, honey, you look hungry. Let me go make you a sandwich. And then takes him away. So he's like no longer in the scene. So yeah, I could see where he would be like an addition because he keeps like showing up and then getting sidelined throughout the movie. So anyway, we're 22 minutes into this movie, people. We get the first musical number. And this is supposed to be a musical. Now, this is a diegetic musical number, meaning that it is Elwood Blues singing it on stage to the crowd and they can hear it too, right? Because a musical is either diegetic, meaning people are really singing in that universe, or it's non-diegetic where the characters are like singing at each other, but it's like a glimpse into like their internal monologues, like they're not really singing and dancing in universe. And kind of the weird thing about this movie is it can't pick a lane because it keeps shifting between these two. Like when I hear the first musical number, I'm like, oh, okay, it's just going to be like a bunch of excuses to do musical numbers like to crowds or whatever, which is fine. They're a blues band. But no, later we'll get into, they do some really weird musical numbers coming up here in a second. So you didn't hear It's Cheaper to Keep Her, the song he sings at the strip club?
No, I didn't have it.
What'd you think of It's Cheaper to Keep Her there, Tim?
Ooh, is it time to be honest?
Yes.
Yeah, I just fast forwarded through all the musical numbers.
The Blues Brothers, originally they tackled like these kind of blues and R&B classics, and so the musical numbers are good. In the sequel, they're all like new songs, and they're mostly pretty terrible.
Oh, horrible.
And It's Cheaper to Keep Her is...
And they're long.
And they're long.
I mean, some of these numbers like about 4 minutes. Yeah. Ridiculous.
And It's Cheaper to Keep Her, a extremely problematic song where Dan Aykroyd tells married men that if you're married, it doesn't matter. Don't ever divorce your wife because she'll take all your stuff and it's cheaper to keep her. So that's the takeaway from that song. Anyway, while he's performing, he sees two Russian gangsters are shaking down Willie for protection.
Strong, man.
Yeah, they're shaking him down for protection money. He gets off stage, Willie, what's this? And he's like, well, it's kind of the cost of doing business, whatever. These Russians, they shake me down. And then he takes the Russian guys into a booth and drinks vodka with them and drinks them under the table. And I guess like because he's a blues brother, his superpower is he can't get drunk. So he's drinking all the vodka. He's stone cold sober. and then he drinks the Russians into oblivion, and then he calls over the bartender to help him deal with it. So here we are, 28 minutes into this movie, and this is finally the introduction of John Goodman, the other blues brother in this movie. And he's the bartender at this establishment. And I'm going to be honest, I'm getting some serious Lenny from Of Mice and Men vibes from him. Like, did you guys pick that?
felt that, yeah.
Yeah, it was odd choice.
Yeah.
And he kind of had a feeling that John Goodman wanted this. Like he's like, yes, I'm gonna fill John Belushi's shoes. I'm gonna be in the Blues Brothers because he always liked the blues. He always had that vibe about him when he watched him on shows. And then what movie he did before this movie?
This is right after The Big Lebowski.
Wow, what a drop off, dude. That's a hard floor right there.
Like that was the only thing I was actually kind of excited when this movie came out was that it had John Goodman.
Oh, me too.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, right. You know, John
Strong
Belushi,
on Roseanne.
better. So yeah, and after The Big Lebowski, I was actually kind of excited, like, oh, this is gonna be fun. John Goodman's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be fun, and he wasn't.
Oh no, and he's not funny.
He's not funny.
He's not funny at all. Like, he's just weird and simple, but not.
It's very bland. I mean, I could. If you interview Goodman, he had anything positive to say about Blues Brothers 2000s, I guarantee he doesn't, because I mean, I'm sure it seems like he would be excited to be in this, and it's just a total letdown. And really, I think is the rated R version of this. Instead of just tying the Russians up and letting them go, they would have killed them in the rated R version. I feel like.
Or, I don't know, something a little more dramatic, because basically Goodman and Elwood take them just to some dirty alley somewhere.
Yeah. Tell them this is a bad idea to do this.
Yeah, tie them up, and they're in there on boxer shorts, and then leave a little note going, oh, you should.
Yeah, like they're going to learn their lesson from that.
Well, it's funny because then the very next scene is them reporting back to their Russian peers. They're like, not on my watch. You must go destroy this club and send them a message. So yeah, that didn't really work. So anyway, Elwood and Goodman go back to the club, and Goodman said, look, in exchange for me helping you take care of the Russians, you got to let me sing a song, because that's my dream, right? Nobody will let me sing, and I'm a singer, and you got to let me do a song. And so, Elwood's like, okay, all right, fine. And so then John Goodman, and we're now 30 minutes into this movie, and we're finally getting to the second musical number, and it's John Goodman singing, I'm looking for a fox, ow, because that's how he sings. He goes, I'm looking for a fox, ow. And it's like, well, wait, foxes don't howl. That's a wolf. But did you watch? I mean, this is still inside the strip club scene. Did you watch John Goodman's music?
I did not.
It is terrible. The song is terrible. His singing is terrible. And the song itself is just really stupid. And of course, everyone's blown away, this guy's a natural. He's so great. And then it ends with Elwood going, oh my God, you got to be my new partner. And it's like, did you just witness the same performance I did? Because that was terrible. But yeah, so you missed two musical numbers.
Oh man.
And they're both really bad. And then
don't worry, there's not a musical number in this movie. It's not Grease 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the best song is the opening one, which isn't anyone singing. It's just John the Revelator. Although the gospel version of John the Revelator later was actually kind of bad.
I will say my favorite one, though, out of all of them, was the bluegrass song.
No, Ghost Riders in the Sky?
Yeah, and they had the cool skeleton horses.
Oh, trust me, we're getting to that in a second, because that's where this show that's where this show takes a dark turn. Well, all right, so I am going to kind of brush over some stuff. So then the gangsters show up, they're mad at what happened, and they literally torch the club.
Not one person dies. They shoot it up.
They shoot it up. They torch it up. John Goodman, Elwood, and Buster jump in the Bluesmobile. They get in a chase with the Russians, but there's carpet tacks for some reason in the glove box, so they throw them out the window, causing the Russians to crash, and they escape. And then then Elwood basically says, well, now that the club is torched, John Goodman, you're going to need a job. Willie's going to need a job. It's time to put the band back together again. And I'm making air quotes, of course, because that's the big thing from the first movie. And then the next 30 minutes of the movie is putting the band back together, right? So first they go to a Mercedes dealership, and I'm only bringing up this scene because this is where it gets kind of weird. At the Mercedes dealership, there's a couple former band members working there. It's run by Aretha Franklin. They ask, hey, can your husband come join us in the band again? And she's like, he better show me some respect.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
And then she just starts singing Respect, and everyone starts dancing, and one of the guy pulls out a saxophone, and I'm like, okay, so in the universe of this movie, they're not really doing that, right? Like, this is now kind of typical musical style where we're seeing into their thoughts and stuff, but
Yeah, no, this is where it does take that turn. Because, yeah, I was watching it, I was like, oh, wait, no, this is now a musical element. This is Grease. This is, where, yeah, they're doing choreographed dances.
And they're doing Respect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, that's playing. So at first I thought it was just gonna be a throwaway joke line when she said Respect,
Right.
not expecting the actual musical number. I was like, wait, what's happening?
I just love it because she's like, you're not going, and he's just like, oh, and she's like, well, I can't stand to see you sad. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't do it. I'll handle this.
That conflict resolved very quickly.
So anyway, they have a montage where they go and collect band members, whatever, with like jokes
Nothing
that
exciting.
aren't really funny. No, the one thing I am going to point out though is one of their keyboardists works for Wilson Pickett at a phone sex operator shop. And that's actually a musical number.
That was funny.
So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because, they show up. He's like, oh, yeah, let me show you, around. And then he's showing them around. It's all these phone sex operators. And they're like, obviously like fat housewives going, oh, yeah, baby, I'm 18-year-old co-ed. And, it's amusing. And then they break into a musical number about being phone sex operators. And this is still in musical land because it's all choreographed and the dancing. And that number is fun.
Yeah.
That is the third musical number. I'm sorry, fourth if we count Respect, in almost 50 minutes. This movie is now almost an hour into it. And I'm like, isn't this supposed to be a musical? So the very next scene is them going to their agent. The band has now been reunited. And they're like, all right, now that we're all back, we need a gig. And this is great because the agent says, oh, well, I can sign you up for Queen Musette's Battle of the Bands, which is coming up in a few days. And then Aykroyd says, the Louisiana Witch Queen Musette? And I'm like, well, that was an awkward bit of exposition there. So, yeah, I guess she's a famous Louisiana witch, and she's having a battle of the bands. So this mention of the Louisiana witch is the first inclination that this movie is about to veer deeply into the supernatural. Because up until now, it's been very straightforward, right? It's just putting the band back together while fighting the Russian mafia, because why not? That's a Blues Brothers movie. So they're like, okay, we're going to go to Louisiana. We're going to sing for Queen Musette because I guess there's a big prize or something. I don't know. And then he says, I'll book you a few gigs on the way down. Fine.
Gas money gigs.
Yeah, gas money gigs. Then they stay in a motel for the night. The next morning, they're like packing up their car. And John Popper from Blues Traveler shows up. He's like, oh, you're the Blues Brothers. I love you guys. Can you listen to my band play? And he's like, yeah, let me just finish packing the car, and then they jump in their car and drive away.
Leave. What a dick move.
I know, that's correct.
And I thought the whole time that John Popper was going to come back and beat him in the Battle of the Bands, which would have been a better storyline. Because you're thinking that because they have this whole John Popper scene, which I think was the only one I listened to pretty much all the way through. And then John Popper comes back to the parking lot. The guys left, didn't watch these. And John Popper confesses that, like, oh, I love your band. It'd be such an honor. He's such a dick to him. Please. I thought he was going to circle back around and John Popper was going to beat him in Battle of the Bands, which should have been part of the storyline, but it never shook out that way.
They're just in the parking lot of a hotel. And I made a note that while Blues Traveler is playing, the whitest people are doing the whitest dancing I have ever seen, ever.
Fair assumption.
Yeah. So if you want to see very white people doing very white dancing, which is probably the only way you can dance the Blues Traveler, to be fair, that's that scene.
But he had a good run in the movies there in the mid to late 90s. He was in Kingpin, too.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
They dressed up like Amish guys at the end and the whole thing. I feel like there's one more that I'm missing, but yeah, he had a good run there.
And you're right. That song is actually good. It's a good Blues Traveler song. Not a single I'm familiar with, just some song. Maybe they wrote it for the film, but it's fine. So for some reason, though, Elwood has never returned Buster, even though he had him in a strip club that got blown up.
This kid's living a life, man.
He's about to head off to New Orleans to go meet a witch. And then they load Buster up for some reason. So the next scene is now back at the hospital orphanage. And the nuns are like, well, I guess we need to report this guy, right? And so she calls it into the cops and being like, hey, yeah, this guy never took back, never brought back our orphan. He's kidnapped him. And so then they put out an APB. And then now it's about the cops trying to find Elwood because he's kidnapped Buster, which is why I said if that was a studio note, what would have propelled the whole second act, if not that?
Yeah, I don't know.
One note I put is that the officer who takes the call is Nia Peoples. You remember her from the 90s?
Miss Peoples. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, she was that really cute Filipino police officer in the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she was like gonna be a pop star. She was kind of like gonna be a Paula Abdul for a split second, but then never really took off.
Yeah, I remember that name.
Yeah, was she ever in any?
Was she like a host of Solid Gold or something?
Yeah.
I feel like she did something.
She was like a TV personality,
Yeah.
tried to put out a record.
Let's see what Nia Peoples did, because I recognize that lady.
They put out an APB. A state trooper in Indiana sees him and calls it in. And this happens to be at that same honky-tonk club from the first movie. I don't know. I guess if you've seen the first movie, you get really excited. Like, oh, they're back in that club, but whatever. So this scene, not funny. It's supposed to be very funny, but like Elwood comes out of the bathroom and he sees the cops are like starting to surround the place. He's the only person that they know by face. You know, the rest of the band he's assembled, they don't know who the band is or whatever, even John Goodman. So he's shaving in the bathroom. He covers his face in shaving cream and
This is stupid.
comes running out of the bathroom. John Goodman and Buster are like, look out, he's got a bacteria.
This is so stupid.
And he's running around, ah! And they cause a commotion for them to jump in the car and get away.
It's so stupid.
They set up roadblocks. There is kind of an amusing scene. Like probably the funniest overall scene in the movie is, they're on the run from the cops. They see that the cops have set up a roadblock in the bridge they're about to take. So for some reason, they just drive into the river. Elwood's like, roll up the windows.
Oh, that's a stupid scene too. Yeah, how's that car go underwater?
Well,
And it picks up a boat on the way out.
yeah, as it leaves the river on the other side, and they watch the fishes swim by, whatever. I mean, it's stupid funny, but yeah, it picks up a boat as it like drives up onto the shore. But that boat is full of explosives because they ended up crashing a neo-Nazi militia meeting, and Daryl Hammond is the leader of the neo-Nazis.
That was funny. Seeing Daryl Hammond, I was like,
I was gonna say,
comedy.
Yes, I was like, oh my God, look out. This scene is actually funny. So Daryl Hammond giving the speech about, all the conspiracies that this militia believes before the Blues Brothers crash their meeting. That is the funniest 2 minutes of the whole film. And then the Blues Brothers, come up on shore. They've got their boat loaded with explosives on the roof that they don't even know it's there. All the neo-Nazis pull out their guns, and Hammond's like, you can't shoot it's full of explosives. And then, they drive off real fast, and that causes the boat to fall off. And then,
Not fall off, but fly off at least 100 feet in the air.
right. And then blow up Daryl Hammond.
Spoiler alert, he comes back.
Okay, so now we are going to get into the truly supernatural. So from this next scene on, this movie gets really weird. So then they pull up to their gig. It's a monster truck rally in Kentucky, and they've been booked as the Bluegrass Brothers. So they do Ghost Riders in the Sky. The song is fine. And while they're playing it, for some reason, like clouds form. Well, first of all, they're playing it right, and the
Monster storm comes.
yes, I have to say the cops are closing in.
Yeah. Russians.
And then the Russians, for some reason, are there. We don't know how the Russians track them. But there's a Russian sniper, up on,
He could have took that shot way sooner.
and he's sitting there. He's got Elwood in his sights, and he just won't take the shot. And he won't.
He's in his sights the whole time. It's not like it's a hard shot.
They're doing, Ghost Riders in the Sky because they're letting the
Elwood
song
fills
play
up the whole screen of the scope. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's a hard shot to think you're going to hit him.
take the shot.
Oh my
And so anyway, then this is where I guess I must assume God steps in to save Elwood and provide an avenue for escape because a lightning bolt shoots the mafia sniper and he's dead. And then ghost cowboys riding skeleton ghost horses stampede across the sky and cause pandemonium as it would. And then in that commotion, they escape. So now, David, we get to the scene that I know most excites you, which is the Baptist tent revival scene.
Uh-oh.
And this is actually another throwback to the first movie because James Brown's Baptist tent revival, they stumble into it in the first movie, and it gives James Brown an opportunity to sing a song. For some reason, James Brown does not sing in this movie.
That's crazy,
I
right?
was expecting that.
how do you
So
have
you had
James
Aretha
Brown?
Franklin.
Yes.
She did respect her. He's going to do that musical number. He doesn't, though.
Yeah, and I Googled it. He was only like 65 at the time.
Okay.
Because I was like, he looks terrible. So I was like, maybe, he's a little old, and they just kind of wanted him around, But no, B.B. King was much older than him, and B.B. King sings the song. So, you think you got James Brown, Godfather of Soul, he's going to sing a song, but he kind of doesn't. Now, in the tent, they are singing John the Revelator now as a gospel song. They have a different pastor who's actually doing the singing, and James is just there. Again, I was going to say that version of the song, though, is pretty fun. But this is where it gets wild, Dave,
really
because
wild.
the cops come in and Chamberlain, the long lost blues brother comes in. David, you got to describe this scene because I know you love it.
Yeah, so what's wild about this scene, so he comes in and they're like singing the song, because he's going in there to arrest them.
Yeah,
right?
and the blues brothers aren't singing. They're just in the pews
so
watching the
he's
show.
come to arrest them. And the preacher's, James, he starts like finger gunning the spirit at him. He's
He
like,
does.
Jesus, Jesus, it's like they're singing, he's finger blasting the spirit in him.
You gotta forgive.
He's like,
You gotta forgive.
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta
awesome.
forgive. And he's like, you can.
yeah,
tell
he's
getting
taking
hit
spirit
by
hits.
the
He's,
Holy Ghost.
Holy Ghost just blast him. And then then he ascends into the sky, like a hole opens up through the ceiling. He goes into the sky. We now see him come up, and he's like, I see it now, I believe, or whatever. And like
take the blood.
and like the lights like going around him, and he transforms into the suit. Like now he's wearing their suit, comes back through the hole that is created, back on the stage, and he's like, all right, yeah, now
I'm a blues brother.
Blues brother, and he's singing, and he's got the hat and the suit magically. So yeah, I was like, hold on. So we just witnessed a literal miracle. We are now in a world where, with proof that God exists. This is
irrefutable
this
proof.
is no, there is
There
no
is a
longer
God.
faith. There is no,
And he is a Baptist.
there is no no faith. It is now 100% real, believable, and no one reacts to this. It was of course. So I was like, oh wow, all right,
That's where we're going
That
with this.
happened, and okay, here we go.
Yeah, and this is not one of those musical numbers happening inside people's heads like the Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Right. No, this is diegetic. They are singing. Everyone is witnessing and reacting to this, and he stays in that Blues Brothers costume the rest of the movie. This was not him in his mind reacting to the music. No.
Yeah.
He flies up in the sky at least 50 feet. His clothes transform. He is surrounded by streaks of energy, and he screams to the sky, I feel the power of the blood. I don't think he's referring to the blood of Christ. I think he's referring to the blood of brothers. And comes down, and he is now dressed in full Blues Brother regalia. He is now the third Blues Brother. And he's like, all right, let's jump in the car and get out of here. I'm now with the Blues Brothers. And they jump in the car, and they make an escape.
Oh, isn't this in the next scene, the record-breaking scene?
Yes. So as they are leaving the tent revival scene, they're being chased by every cop in the entire state. They go through a construction zone. They jump over a pylon or something, and then
Jump over a pylon. There's a lot more going on. First of all, they take on, the roadblock signs,
Yeah.
that look like hurdles. They busted probably about 50 of those in a row.
right.
Yeah, then, guys are jumping out of the way. Oh, yes, okay, yeah, you're right.
It's mayhem. It's mayhem.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So no. But what's funny is, so then they jump over this pylon, and then the first cop car that's right behind them crashes into the pylon, as you would. The second car right behind him crashes into him. Okay. By the third, fourth, fifth car, I'm like, okay, these people don't have any kind of reaction.
No
time,
brakes.
No brakes.
All gas, no brakes.
5, 6, 7, 8. Guys, 104 police cars.
And you feel every one of them.
You do, because at that point, it's just silly. The scene keeps going on. They've driven off at this point, and it feels like a kid is just throwing cars onto a pile of toys because they're just launching now. Because, there's such a pile of cars that they're now just throwing cars on top of this
I
pile.
want to know how they threw the cars. That's what I want to
Yeah,
know.
I
Because they're
know.
obviously unmanned.
They must be. These
Undead.
people
Yeah.
would die.
Oh, yeah.
And these cars
undead.
are being thrown, like
Launched.
Yeah, they're just being hucked at this pile.
Ridiculous.
And it goes on for minutes and minutes and minutes because they have to get through 104 cars, and you see every crash. It's like, guys, okay, I get it. Can we please move on with the plot? No, it like freezes the movie for 2 minutes, and you watch 104 cars.
Imagine somebody telling you we're going to crash 104 cars in one scene. You'd be like, man, I'm so jacked to watch that. Please. It's gonna be
I would
awesome.
be like,
it's not
maybe
awesome.
10.
Yeah, that's a bit excessive. 100.
It's like the Houston 500 from the late 90s. You know what I'm saying? After about 10 guys, you're like, okay, this is old.
Just for you watching or listening at home, and Houston 500 is not a race, and I'm not going to give any further detail whatsoever.
Dude, I brought the Houston 500 in the podcast, dude. I'm the king. I'm the king.
I'm going to give absolutely no further context other than to say that is not a car race. And if you don't know, don't Google it.
I'm sorry, man. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Wow. Okay, so once we get past that, we're now in the last act of the movie, and the whole last act of the movie is this witch queen of New Orleans, Queen Musette. They pull up to her New Orleans mansion, heavily guarded. I do like that Season of the Witch song that's playing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I actually like this whole part of the movie. This is probably the best part of the movie.
Well, it's really just a music video at this point. It stops being,
For like half an hour. I mean, it is.
it's the entire last half hour of the movie is this scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Paul Schrader as Musette's valet. He is dressed up like a, I don't know, 18th century French noble and has the worst French accent ever. He's like, oh, you're here to see the witch. So anyway, he brings them in to meet Queen Musette, the witch queen of New Orleans, played by Erykah Badu.
Oh, Erykah Badu. Okay, that's
Yeah, you said you recognize. Oh, she looks radiant. She looks beautiful.
amazing. She's a beautiful woman.
And then they must audition for her, but of course they left their instruments back in, the monster truck rally. And so she says, "Oh, that's fine," and she just waves her hands, and their instruments appear. Because again, at this point, this movie is 100% supernatural. Like, we have left the realm of the living. This queen waves her hands, the instruments appear, and they're like, okay, well, do you have a request? And she's like, yes, I want you to play something Caribbean. And Elwood's like, well, no, we're the Blues Brothers. We do blues, we do R&B, we do soul, we do funk. But I'm sorry, we absolutely don't do the Caribbean.
Honestly, I almost feel like he's being racist, right? Because he made an exception for bluegrass,
Right.
He made that exception. But you can't make an exception for Caribbean music. Oh, you need some turtle shells. You know what I'm saying? Just bang on. It's like, dude, you're an asshole. I don't blame her for turning him into a zombie. Spoiler alert.
All right, well, yeah.
Like the worst zombies ever.
Tell us what happens then when they try to refuse.
Oh, they refuse it. So she stops them. They stop. For some reason, it's just the Blues Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Not
three
the whole
Blues
band.
Brothers,
Yeah.
right.
And, she puts a spell on. They turn into like Incredible Hulk zombies. They're very like, there was obviously not really much budget, I guess, at this point for the special effects makeup.
No, they're
Yeah.
just painted.
Painted green.
No, it's off.
Brazen
Awful.
green.
They're just
And so she's just basically, has them in a
like
spell.
marionettes
Yeah.
almost.
The rest of the band's with it. You know what I'm saying? Even the little kids on the bongos, you know what I'm saying?
So yeah, we're in a world where also, voodoo magic's real.
Oh, voodoo magic's real, just like the power of the Holy Ghost is very real.
Very real, and no one seems to react. No one really seems, all that reactant to the fact that their instruments just magically appeared and that these people got turned into, weird zombies. Like, they're unfazed.
That the whole
like,
band just knows the song, like she beamed the music into
they're
their
just like,
head.
all right.
They're very adaptive musicians, obviously. They're very adaptive.
They're in the pocket, but still, I mean, they just all start playing a song that she just. So, and then Erykah Badu joins in with some vocals. Very good vocalist, beautiful singer. So anyway, they do that song, and then she's pleased and goes, yes, you may join my Battle of the Bands, waves her arms and now turns them into just full-on statues, those three, and then walks away. And the rest of the band is like, what are we supposed to do? Now they're statues.
Yeah, we got to play anyway.
We got to play anyway. The queen says we got to play.
Following Otis Redding, following B.B. King, following all these blues legends.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think Eric Clapton.
Yeah,
that's it.
Steve Winwood.
Yeah, there's
Steve Winwood.
Yeah, don't you know what the night could do?
Valerie, call me. Steve Winwood has that one mid-'80s Steve Winwood album is a banger. See what's got Higher Love? Bring me a
And you know, from the Budweiser commercial, don't you know what the night can do?
that commercial.
Anyway,
Steve Winwood. That's awesome.
yeah, it was Steve Winwood. So what he's referring to is the night of the Battle of the Bands. Of course, you know, Paul Schrader announces, yes, the first band will be the Gator Boys, and you know, the Blues Brothers band. Other than the three that are statues, are all talking among themselves, going, "Oh, what kind of redneck hicks are the Gator Boys band? We'll surely beat them." And then the curtains part, and it's a super band of every blues
All-star band.
rock person
You
ever.
recognize a lot of these people.
Oh yeah, it's Eric Clapton, it's B.B. King, Steve Winwood, Dr. John, Bo Diddley.
And all of a sudden he goes back to Paul Schaefer.
Oh yeah, then Paul Schaefer converts back to Paul Schaefer, and he jumps in, and they play a song, but the song is not great for being like that stacked, you know. And then they play their song, and the crowd, of course, cheers. And then Queen Musette unfreezes the Blues Brothers and says, "All right, do your song." And they do a song called "Let Your Light Shine on Me," and that's actually a very good Blues Brothers-esque song. I don't know if it is an old blues staple from like the 60s or whatever, but it's a banger. And so they do that, but then the crowd cheers and the Gator Boys win. And then just then the Russians bust in, pull out their Uzis. You're like, oh no, they're gonna destroy another
it's over.
nightclub. Like last time, we know how this ends. But then Queen Lucette waves her hands and turns them into literal rats. Because again, the voodoo magic is 100% real. Then the cops bust in right after.
No, it's the Nazis, the redneck meat.
Oh yeah, the Nazis are alive, and then do they get turned into rats?
Yeah, they get turned into rats,
more
too.
rats. Yeah, you're right.
They didn't learn their lesson because he just witnessed the Russians get turned to rats, and he literally says to her, "I do not believe in this voodoo."
Oh, you're right. I don't believe my own eyes, bro.
Jeez, idiot.
You're right. So then they get turned into rats. Then the cops show up, and then Chamberlain kind of stalls them because they're like not sure. Well, the police captain says this is cool, but not. Then they kind of go backstage, and Elwood's like, all right, I guess the jig is up, Buster. I got to turn you back into the cops. They're here to collect you. And then Buster's like, no, I want to stay with you because if they, take me, they'll just put me in some foster home that won't care about me. I care about you. I care about the blues. It's actually kind of touching. And then Elwood's like, all right, screw it. We'll just go on the lam together then. And then they go in the police car, the Bluesmobile, and they're driving off, and you've got a sea of cops chasing them, and then roll credits. It's over.
They got their cars replaced pretty quick.
Yeah, they did.
Jeez. The city manager had to be pissed. 104?
104. You guys couldn't have stopped at like 7?
This is like 1978 in Chicago, and there's 103. You guys had to do one more?
Our city budget's screwed for years. So that is the Blues Brothers 2000. Of course, what is our verdict? Was it equal to the first one?
I mean, I'm really not a big fan of the first one, but this is straight. This is trash. Do not watch it. There's nothing redeemable about this. We'll skip to the end when they get to the
whole
lady.
third
The
act.
Erykah Badu scene. That's pretty solid.
But it's really just a concert film.
Yeah, it was.
It's not even a movie at that point.
You want to see like the greatest of blues that were still alive? And I don't know how going back to the James Brown, how do you not get James Brown to sing in this thing? It's ridiculous.
Right.
I think he was still vibrant at that time, right?
Well, like I said, he was only 65. I don't know if he was performing.
Is this pre him being drunk and wasted on CNN doing an interview?
I don't know.
Is it post? Okay.
I don't
Oh, you got to see that video. That's great.
But, Dan Aykroyd said in an interview that basically he made this movie just as an excuse to hang out with people he loves, which is what they said exactly about the first one.
Yeah. Well, that cost $28 million, Dan Aykroyd, right? Jeez.
Yeah. Well, but Universal Studios was, anxious to get back in bed with the Blues Brothers because the first one was such a smash hit. And those characters are iconic. To this day, you can go to Universal Studios in Orlando or LA, and they have the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, and the car and all
They
the
come
photo op.
and they do photo ops, and I think they even sing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can see why they thought this could be something. Of course, the ghost of John Belushi is haunting this entire film because you really feel his absence so profoundly. That man was very, very, very funny. He was just the epitome of that fat guy energy, that super energy, and obviously after him, Chris Farley kind of took that baton.
To a whole other level.
Yeah.
Farley's
Belushi
funnier than
walked,
Belushi.
so Farley could run.
Yeah. And then both of those guys died of the cocaine.
I know, that's insane.
And I think that's the only way a man that fat can have that much energy.
Yeah, if you're fat, don't do cocaine because your heart can't handle it.
No, and if you're skinny, don't do cocaine.
Yeah,
But
well, if you're skinny, it's probably because you're doing cocaine the right way. You know what I'm saying? To lose weight, which is how it was originally prescribed back in the day as a weight loss stimulant.
oh, I didn't know
It's
that.
also in Coca-Cola for.
No, I know that it is the Coke.
God, could you imagine drinking Coke with cocaine in it?
I love Coke anyway, and Coke with cocaine, that's just got
Wow, that had to be God, to go back in the 20s and try that. You know?
Okay, so the next question is there anything you could have done differently to save this movie, Tim?
Okay, well, first off, they let the studio have too much say-so in this movie, making it PG-13, all that stuff. Should have been a rated R movie. Should have been a little bit more violent. Should have been a little bit more hardcore.
Should have been for adults.
That's an adult movie.
No kid cares about the Blues Brothers.
You're talking a movie 18 years removed from the original. Any teenager, any kid that watched that movie and fell in love with it is obviously old enough to enjoy an R-rated film and pay big bucks for it.
Right.
This is 98. This is in a decade. This is during that 5 years span of 94 to 99 when there's nothing but great movies being made across the board. Every week. Yes, every week there's a great rated R movie coming out. And then Police Brothers 2000 came out in an era of great movies, and it's so forgettable. That's sad, especially icons like that. What do you do different? First off, without Belushi, you just don't make it, I think.
Of course, Belushi was the superior Blues Brother. I mean, Aykroyd is a very good supporting actor.
Hands down.
And I love Dan Aykroyd, but he is not the lead. He is your second fiddle. He has to be. And Belushi really shone in those Blues Brothers. Like, go back and watch the performances from SNL on YouTube, people.
Like you said, Aykroyd is a good B-man. And was this before or after Grosse Pointe Blank? I wonder. I feel like Grosse Pointe Blank's like 97.
Yes.
Which, I remember Aykroyd got, I remember there's a lot of accolades thrown at Aykroyd. Grosse Pointe Blank, if you've never seen it with John Cusack and Joan Cusack about a hitman at a high school reunion it's part of that 80s run, 94 to 99, when there was nothing but bang, 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 a banger every week coming out in theaters. And Grosse Pointe Blank's part of that. Probably, Cusack has 1,000 great movies. And I think you got to, Say Anything's probably his best movie, I think.
No, that would be Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead? No, do you like Better Off Dead over Say Anything?
Yes. I'll take my God. Better Off Dead.
You would take Better Off Dead over Say Anything?
$2.
Oh, I want my $2. I love Say Anything. I think it's one of the best. Is it a rom-com?
Yeah.
Is it? Is that technically a rom-com or teen dramedy?
I call it a rom-com.
Okay. All right, so rom. But yeah. Maybe we should do a whole podcast on which is better, the John Cusack, filmography. But I think Grosse Pointe Blank's definitely in his top 3, and that's one of Aykroyd's best performances of all time.
Oh yeah, no.
So maybe he had the accolades coming off that, and thought he was big shit. So let's make Blues Brothers 2000 and underutilize John Goodman.
Well, that's the crime. Goodman is not funny in this movie. Like, he does not land.
He's got to be pissed
jokes
about that, right? You think Goodman's pissed to this day? I'm going to go back and look at YouTube's of Goodman talking about Blues Brothers 2000 because he's got to be pissed about it.
Another thing, so first of all, you're feeling the absence of John Belushi, as I said.
Hard.
Another thing I think you're really feeling the absence of is this movie really doesn't have like that pushing, driving plot. Like, there is no ticking clock. There is no mission from God.
No.
It really feels very episodic and very scattered, very, unfocused. So I think they really should have found that second, we need to save the orphanage, whether it was, maybe the whole quest was, I need to find my long lost brother or whatever, some driving force. This movie just feels like it just meanders. And, I also don't feel like there's really a way to save it.
Yeah.
Dave, any thoughts on how this could have been saved?
Yeah, it's hard because I know the first one's beloved, and yeah, it's okay. Like, I don't have like huge affection for the first one, but I get it. It's got a lot of iconic, the costume, the car, so, I get it. not the biggest fan, but I get it. And yeah, I mean, the really one idea maybe that I had was maybe like a mockumentary style, like a Spinal Tap style with the Blues Brothers, with these other musicians, performers. Because yeah, that final act is the best part of the movie. Is there a way to make the movie more of that, but maybe behind the scenes of getting these people together to do a show for a purpose to save something?
Yes.
And they should have had John Popper come back and ruin the whole thing for him. You know,
Yeah,
sort of like
right.
a revenge tale. You know,
A revenge tale. No, I think that's a great point. That's
You
a great
know,
point.
something like that maybe. But yeah, because I mean, yeah, where do you go? It's not really a plot, you know, where you can keep going.
No,
Like,
it's really not. And honestly, when you lose one half of the Blues Brothers, you should have just taken that as your
80% of the Blues Brothers.
yeah. They should have taken that as your sign to just not keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, the consensus is the sequel is most definitely not equal. Don't think there's a way to have saved this. The next question we always ask is what other ways in which this property, this IP was expanded? And of course, I already brought up the Super Nintendo or N64, whichever was going on in '98, video game adaptation, although it does not follow the plot of this at all. But it came out, and what's funny is it ended up coming out like 2 years later. So it's another one of those weird things where it's an adaptation of a movie that shouldn't have had a video game, and that movie flopped, and the video game adaptation came out 2 years later. So as you can imagine, the video game also flopped. But that was the last piece of IP of the Blues Brothers, and ever since then, the IP has really just existed in. Every so often, Aykroyd will put together, some people and go out and do some songs as the Blues Brothers, or some shows rather as the Blues Brothers. Sometimes with Jim Belushi,
All right.
and then also just with other people. He's like, "Hey, you're an honorary Blues Brother. Let's go, rent a house of blues somewhere and do a night of, songs or something." So they still do that from time to time. But I don't think this movie should have been made. And I certainly don't think any further up. This is not an IP that has any legs. No franchise here. Let's let this lie in peace.
Yeah. Agree.
And so with that, that's all we got. Thank you for watching the show. Please join us next week when we have a new episode. We'll see you then.
These are the sequels.